Hello. We have Grace here, and Grace, tell us in 2 sentences what was your idea and how does it change the world?
I am Grace. I'm a personal branding and business strategist, and I will give you the semi-long answer, which is that I've been self-employed for 5 years now, but before this, I worked for a HR tech company in London. And for the first 2 years, I was initially hired for my personality and because I was a great culture fit. And then 2 years in, everything became more professional and corporate, and it was a case of be yourself but don't be yourself, speak up in meetings but don't speak up, challenge us but don't challenge us. And I found it really challenging for me as somebody who was hired for my personality. And so it ties in very nicely to what I do now, which is to help those fellow corporate rebel type people to really build a successful and profitable business without having to be professional or corporate, without having to mute themselves or tone down their personality, but actually dialing up who they are and knowing that that's the best way to actually attract the right kind of people to your business. Because so many people believe that in order to be taken seriously in business, to get that promotion, to earn a lot of money, you have to fit this corporate professional mold of who you are. But it's not the case. And I'm here to show people it's not the case and to help those people that want support to dial up their personality and attract clients through being authentically them.
Excellent. So, this personal branding is like a buzzword these days, and everybody's talking about it. And what do you think how really important it is?
It's really important is my answer in a nutshell. But whether you are employed or whether you're self-employed, this is essentially career insurance. If you're employed, you want to be building a personal brand to expose yourself, to increase your own brand awareness and visibility around who you are as a person, because this is going to give you better opportunities for moving on to other companies, for negotiating a higher salary. But if, like me, you are doing this because you're self employed, social media marketing, building a brand on social media is the new way of how to actually get big opportunities and sign clients into your business. I always joke with people, but back not even that long ago, 20 years ago, maybe more recent than that, before social media really existed, the only way to get business was to go to networking events and give out business cards or just to cold call companies. And aren't we grateful that social media has evolved the way that we do business and really revolutionized the way that we do business? And so that's the reason why everybody, whether you're employed or not, should be building a personal brand, because it's the gateway to getting big opportunities and securing your future.
Excellent. I really like that, and because I think, like you said, a few decades ago, when you were in the company, you have problems how to connect with other people and how to show yourself, your knowledge, your skills. Today it's so easy. Or even if you sell products, I did it in decades ago, and you have to, I don't know, print flyers and distribute them, or there was special papers when you can advertise and things like that. Today, with organic posting, you can reach millions of people with just a bit of time and energy spent. You don't have to invest a lot of money to do that.
Absolutely. And social media provides an amazing opportunity for everybody to build a brand for free at the point of use. And I know that many people, we all get frustrated with the algorithm and reach and engagement going up and down. But ultimately, we are using borrowed territory, but borrowed virtual land for
Mhm.
free. And it's social media, while there are pros and cons, when you're building a business for the reasons that we've both mentioned, it's amazing how much social media has revolutionized the way that we can do business. And people anybody can start a page for free, start building a brand, showing off expertise, and making money from social media. And this is amazing.
And connect with like-minded people and your future customers.
Absolutely. And that's why we're here now, having only connected a week ago or something. The beauty
Yeah.
of social media.
Yeah. So tell me, you said you are solopreneur for 5 years. What was the most, I don't know, uh, things that most surprised you, that you didn't expect?
It's a funny answer, and what I will say here is when I started back in I launched my business in May 2020, and I started a month or two before that to start putting out content on social media. And social media, as we know, is a highlights reel. And I saw everybody posting about these massive financial wins. And I honestly thought this is going to be easy. It feels like everybody's like, smashing it after posting a couple of posts on social media. And it was only after starting, when it took me 3 months to sign my first client, that I realized, like, wow, like this is not going to be easy. And I just had this, because of social media marketing and the way people were showing off all these huge financial wins, I honestly thought it would be easy. And I got a big reality check when I started doing the work and realized, like, no, this is going to take work and effort and graft and consistency.
Yeah, I think that is also changing, especially on LinkedIn. I see more and more posts where people describe exactly what you're describing, not just wins, but also the struggle and all the time and energy they put, or the effort they put into this success, so that we see this mountain below the sea, that we otherwise don't see.
Absolutely. And this is this new approach to marketing, where people want this human first approach to marketing, because, and especially Gen Z, I see this, but I'm not going to go into the topic of Gen Z today, but everybody wants to feel connected to the brands that they're engaging with and ultimately are going to buy from, whether it's one of these big corporations or a solo entrepreneur, a solo business owner. People want to feel connected to the person or the brands that they're investing into, and emotionally investing into, but also financially investing into. And that's the reason why you need to take this human first approach to marketing, because that's what makes people say, that's someone that I resonate with, that's someone that I really see myself in, when you talk about your story and your challenges. And people know that this influencer, the picture perfect influencer marketing, is not a thing anymore. So if you try to hide the challenges that you've overcome and you just try to put out the best stuff, people don't buy into that, because they know that building a business is not easy. So it's very important to share your challenges, what you did to overcome them, and then teach people this is how you can overcome it as well.
Excellent. So how do you do that?
Well, goodness, how do we do this? Many different angles that we can take this from, but ultimately, first and foremost, it's about understanding, before you even look at, are you monetizing this for business, and understanding your ideal client and what you're offering. It's really about knowing why you're doing this. And I know everybody hears it all the time, and it sounds like the cheesy thing to say, but you really do have to be attached to what your reason is, what your purpose is, and why you're doing this, because business is not easy. You will go weeks, maybe sometimes months, depending on where you're at in the journey, not signing clients or not getting inquiries. And so when you're really connected to why you're doing this, it keeps you going in those more difficult times. And so really asking yourself, what's important to me about doing this? What is motivating me to do this? And ultimately, why am I doing it? Because that's going to give you the passion and the excitement to show up, and to show up consistently, even when you're not seeing the results that you want. But then beyond that, it's about really knowing, who is it that you want to attract to your community. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people making in the online space, especially when they're monetizing a business, is not being specific enough with the kind of person that they want to attract to their community and to their services. And this is the first thing that I look at with any of my clients is we go straight back to who is the target audience, who's the ideal client, why do these people need what you are selling? And so it's thinking who does need this, but who is going to connect to me most and who do I connect to most? Because remember, it's about this human first approach to marketing where people feel connected to you and your brand. So maybe that's based on your brand story or your personality or everything. But you have to know first and foremost, who is that person, the individual ideal client that you want to attract, and create everything, your offers, your brand, your content for this one specific person. And once you're clear on that, who needs your help? What's the problem you're solving? What do your services actually do? What are the tangible results of why people should hire you? And what motivates them to get these results? You can build out your entire content strategy around these 5 questions.
Excellent. So, they usually said that the buyer is a king, but I think in this world, especially in this coaching business or things like that, you are the king. You decide who you will work with, and you decide who your customers will be. And I think it's a great approach because you choose who to work with. And it's somehow it's easier for you to build connections in the world where you enjoy what you are doing.
Absolutely. And it's a great point because so many people forget that they are actually in charge of their business.
Mm.
And in a way, when you're really at the beginning and you just want a few clients to build up your confidence, to get some client testimonials under your belt and start working with people, it's almost a rite of passage that you'll take on a few unaligned clients and non-perfect fit clients. But ultimately, you have to remember that you do not have to work with anyone that you don't want to work with. And this is really powerful when you remember that you are in charge of your business. You are the person who gets to decide who do you want to work with? What opportunities do you want to take? In a way that when you're employed, you can't do that. You just have to do whatever the company wants you to do.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that I say to people is remember that you have the power to decide everything about your business. And that's really powerful when you actually live by that.
Excellent. So you also you have already mentioned some things that you want to work with rebels and people like that. So who is your perfect client?
It's a good question. So, funnily enough, I did a strategy call with someone else this morning. He was very similar, and we discussed exactly the same thing. And I said, we have a very similar ideal client. So for me, it is these corporate rebel type people. They're bold, they're outspoken, they're these disruptive type people that didn't fit the mold of the corporate world. They didn't fit into the 9 to 5 because they have this big vision of where they want to be. And they are so focused on the big vision. There is no plan B for these people. A lot of people in business, they always have one foot out the door just in case things don't work out. But that's never been my mantra. I am fully in on my business because I know why I'm doing this. And I know what my mission is in my business and my purpose behind why I'm doing this. And so for me, my ideal clients are exactly the same. They're these people who are all in. They know where they want to be. They're focused on their vision and they are willing to do anything possible to make it a success. They're not one foot out the door. They're not, well, if it fails, I'll do something else, because failure is not an option for my ideal clients. They're people, they're ready to go for it. They're going for it. They're making big moves. They're taking bold action and they're going for that big vision. And they know that it's all possible for them and that they're going to achieve it.
Excellent. So if I'm that rebel, and start to work with you, what could I expect? How long will we work? how intense it will be, and can you explain a little bit about that?
So I have, when clients come to me, there are typically two problems, either or, that people need solving. So there's the first one where they're relatively new in business, or not necessarily new. They might have been trying something for a while, but not seeing results, but they just don't have a strategy for how to sign clients into their business on a consistent basis. And because of that, they're not properly monetizing their business. They're not making a full-time income from it. So they're saying, I need to learn how to sell, how to generate leads for my business, how to market myself, so I can actually find and sign clients into my services, book out my services, and start properly monetizing what I'm doing so I can make a full-time income from it. The second problem that I solve typically are for also solopreneurs, but they are booked out with clients. They do have, a full roster of clients, but they're massively undercharging. They're maxed out. They have no time in their week to actually grow their business beyond client work, but they're just making enough money to pay the bills, to pay their rent, to live life, but nothing else. And so they started their business for freedom, but they don't have freedom because they've maxed out their hours taking on cheap clients. So the solution there that I help people with is it's about really raising your rates to what you know that you should be charging, but you're too scared to do right now. Because when we do this, this is also about tweaking the messaging, the positioning of your offer. But this is what allows people to work with fewer clients at a higher price point to make more money and actually claim back time and freedom in their week to actually enjoy their life, but to also be able to focus on growing their own business. So these are the two problems that I typically solve for my clients. And I have a number of different ways that people can work with me. There's one-to-one, in which case that could be anything from a 90-minute strategy call up to 3 months, 6 months, however long people want to work together. And I also run multiple group programs as well that focus on solving specific problems. So the groups I've done have been anything from 30-day accelerators up to 6-month programs. So I won't go in depth with what the process looks like inside those offers because it's focused on solving a specific problem, but there's always a roadmap of the steps that we need to take to reach the end goal.
Okay, if somebody in the audience wants to get to know more about this, how to reach you? Can they DM you, or do you have any other specific way
to get in touch with me? So
Yeah.
the best way to get in touch with me is through LinkedIn. So my name is, I haven't actually written my surname on here, but for those of you that have seen the banner that Robert created, my name's Grace Lancer. You can't miss me. I'm in a bright pink coat. So the best way there is to send me a DM on Instagram. I do also have a website, which is gracelancer.com, where I've got more information about my services and my business and my mission and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But in terms of actually being able to get hold of me, the best way is through LinkedIn. I am also on Instagram at Grace Lancer Coaching, but LinkedIn is my preferred social media.
Why do you like LinkedIn so much?
It's a good question because 4.5 years ago, I started my business on Instagram and Facebook. And I only came over onto LinkedIn about 2.5 years ago when I realized that Instagram was dying a slow death, when reach engagement was really going down. And I just kind of lost faith in the platform a little bit because it wasn't what it was when I started previously. And I said, I need to get on another platform. I need to start building on another platform because it's just not sustainable to build an Instagram only business. So that's what I did. I thought I had a LinkedIn account. I never really used it, but from my corporate days, I did have an account where I shared the occasional thing when the company was like, can you share this? So I had 500 connections or something, but basically nothing. And I just thought, LinkedIn's a professional platform. It exists first and foremost for business and careers. So it seemed logical to me to give that platform a go. And I'm so glad I did because 2.5 years later, showing up consistently, that there's been a day or two here and there that I've missed, but otherwise for 2.5 years, I have been there every day, posting, building my brand, And consistency is what you need in order to build trust, build your following, build your visibility, sign clients, and ultimately bring in big opportunities that most people want, like being asked to be on podcasts, being asked to speak at events, getting media features.
Mm. You said that Instagram is dying. Do you still think it's dying, or do you have a little more faith now?
As I say to all of my clients, it's really about choosing a platform where your ideal client is hanging out. So I post more or less every day on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and I do post the same content, sometimes tweaked, but it more or less fits also onto my Instagram. But I act more reactively on Instagram rather than spending time on the platform nurturing relationships. So for me, I use Instagram now as a brand visibility tool as opposed to as a way to actually generate business from it, because I would rather focus on LinkedIn
Mhm.
because I feel like it works better as a platform just for connecting with professionals.
Mhm.
Um, Also, Instagram, it's literally proof and fact that the reach is way, way less than what LinkedIn offers, even though the LinkedIn algorithm has had a wobble the last few months, but still the reach on LinkedIn is still way higher than Instagram. So Instagram has a purpose. And if you are a business that has a strong focus on visual aesthetic, Instagram is, of course, an amazing platform. But
Mhm.
it's about knowing, where does your ideal client hang out? And that's where you need to be.
How about TikTok?
So I will say I have very briefly dabbled in TikTok, but not enough to be able to give a full breakdown and opinion on it. What I do know is that it is very popular, especially with Gen Z people. But yeah, it's something I had to go with. And I know that, like with any platform, you need to stay consistent with it. And I did it a little bit here and there. People say that it's a platform that's easy to use, and maybe I'm a bit of a technophobe, but I found it wasn't that simple and straightforward. But again, maybe I didn't put enough time into it. But I know that it's a very popular platform and people love short form content, and its video is undoubtedly a really good way to show off brand personality.
Yeah, and I think that's a somehow uh, other platforms are also using the same concept, like YouTube with short videos, and Instagram and LinkedIn videos is also popular here. So it's really interesting. I tried TikTok, and I basically use it a lot because I like the search engine, or the algorithm, how it provides me with content. It's much different than LinkedIn and YouTube, for instance, uh, and I think it's really good. So I can be like Gen Z, I like it.
For sure. And whatever platform you're on, even if it's not TikTok, if it's Instagram, YouTube, which is a video only platform anyway, but LinkedIn, video content is, I would say, making a comeback. But in any event, I advise all of my clients, where possible, to challenge themselves to appear on video, because it really is the best way to stand out to your ideal client. And again, if you're monetizing your business, you want to remove as many roadblocks or hurdles as possible for people to actually say yes to working with you. And
Mhm.
so if you are only posting text, then people may be thinking, I get this person's personality, but I wonder what they're actually like. I wonder what the tone of their voice is. I wonder what they actually sound like, what their personality is actually like. Whereas if you show that authentically, of course, if you show that in videos, people, it's something that they tick off their list of whether you're the right person for them. They see your video and they're like, wow, like I love what this person's about. I love the way they come across. I love their energy. Yeah, this is the person. So not only is it good for building that trust and connection, but you're removing a hurdle or a roadblock to someone also coming to inquire with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's so. I don't. I think people really underestimate this influence, and they also underestimate the how you remove blocks from yourself,
Hmm.
because usually people are really scared or resident to do videos and be on camera and speak publicly. And when you start doing that, it's kind of liberating, because you see there's nothing scary happening there, and it's really great opportunity to do that.
100%. And it's something that I find so easy to do naturally. But 4.5 years ago, it wasn't something that I felt comfortable doing. And when I was on Instagram, I appreciate it's different re-recording a video as opposed to going live. But I remember the first time I was pushing myself to go live on Instagram, and I was terrified. Like for half an hour, I had my finger over the button and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just so
Yeah,
scared.
yeah,
And again, I know there is a difference to going live because you can't make mistakes. Whereas when you're recording a video in advance, you can do retakes. But you just have to think like, you can never say the wrong thing to the wrong person. And I know a lot of people think, oh my goodness, what if people judge me? What if they criticize me? What if they think I'm too much? What if I turn people off and lose followers? But you will never be too much for the right clients. And you are here only to build a community of the right people, people who love you and your brand.
yeah. And I liked, one of my coaches told me, your first 100 videos will suck. And it's kind of also liberating, because I know, okay, I have to do 100, and first 100 will suck, so I have to do it and do it and do it and do it. And it is really so, because like when you're a child, you have to crawl first, then you walk, and then you run. So you have to do the learning and trying and errors and everything. So yeah, if you have this in mind, it's basically easy, because okay, I couldn't make the first 100 perfect, so I won't even try. I'll just do it.
Absolutely. But there are definitely ways to make it better. So,
Okay.
first of all, if anybody's wondering, because I had somebody recently ask me, what tech do I use for creating videos? This is not an affiliate. I'm just sharing who I use. So I use CapCut, and it's really simple and easy to create videos. So I would advise you can get started for free on that platform as well. So it's super simple to cut, edit.
Hmm.
What I would say that actually takes a lot of pressure off is, especially if you're posting on LinkedIn or Instagram or anywhere, you want to make your video short and concise. So there's no pressure that you need to create this 5-minute video. Make it 60 seconds max, ideally 30 seconds, especially if you're starting out. And something you have to remember is show up authentically. Whatever that means for you, just be yourself. But also, when creating the video content, thinking, what can I create a video around? Always think with content is, what's one takeaway that I want to give my ideal client here? You're not trying to solve 10 problems in one video. What's one mindset shift, one lesson, one mistake I can highlight, one myth I can bust? What one piece of help I can give them that will move their business, life, whatever it is, forward today. And always connect directly with the ideal client that you want to attract to your business. So ask yourself that, what's one thing my ideal client needs to hear from me today? And create it with them in mind to help them.
Yeah, and if you already have clients, or you think you of somebody who you can help, you can also always share, not with their names and their things, but what have you helped them with. Or I also record sometimes things that I want to remember for myself, to remind me, okay, this was one thing that I learned, and I want other people to learn too.
100%. And it's something, again, I advise my clients to do when you think about what we spoke about, that storytelling technique, highlighting what challenges you've overcome to teach people as a practice that will give you one piece of content, or multiple, but at least one piece of content every week, is once a week, every 7 days, ask yourself, what challenges have I experienced this week? How did I overcome them? How can I now create a piece of content around it to teach people?
Yeah.
And this will give you a bank of content for that one specific type of content that's storytelling to show people the hurdles that you've overcome. So as an action point, as a practice, start doing this whenever you want to do it, on a Sunday night, on a Monday morning. Ask yourself, what have I learned over the last week? What challenges have I faced, and how can I create something that's now going to help my community?
Yes, excellent. If you do it once a week, it's not too overwhelming. But at the end of the year, you have 50 plus pieces of content, and that's not a little. It is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. And people want to see this journey. Justin Welsh talks about it a lot,
Mhm.
building your business out in public. And that's essentially what it means, is showing people behind the scenes of what you're working on, getting them involved in it, and also sharing the challenges that you faced along the way, because people know that nobody's perfect and everyone out here is just building their own business and making mistakes as we go. So share that with people to teach them.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, we're on time to finish. Perhaps some final thoughts.
Oh goodness, final thoughts. My wow, where do I start? But my final thoughts are really show up as yourself, which is very broad advice, and it's very easy to say, easier said than done. But you have to remember, in fact, this is a good finishing thought, because with the 90-minute strategy call I did this morning, she said, what questions can you give me that I can check in with myself every week to keep me on track? And I gave her 3 questions, and I said, first of all, ask yourself, everything you're doing, is it tailored and targeted to your ideal client? Because that's what you need to remember. Anything that's broad, vague, generic, delete it. Make sure everything you're doing is targeted to your ideal client. The second thing is making sure that every action you take is something that is going to generate you money. So many people spend time being busy in business without actually working smart or being productive. And then the third question was kind of tied into that, which is everything that you're doing actually aligned with the big vision that you have in mind for your business? Again, kind of the same ethos as point number 2, but so many people get distracted doing all sorts of stuff because that doesn't work and that doesn't work, and maybe I should change my strategy. And this is where it's so important to actually map out, what's your 12-month vision? What's your 6-month vision? What's your 3-month vision? Because this, when you get clear on this, you can reverse engineer a plan. And this is when the action you take each week becomes so much more targeted. And you're not sitting there going, what do I do each week? Because all of a sudden you've got a plan.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you for this lovely chat. I really enjoyed it. And I think that's the main point of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see people are enjoying it too, and they see value in it. So we'll do it again sometime.
For sure.
Yeah. Have a nice rest of the day.
Thank